God is always all-knowing and always will. God is always has independent will and always will. Yeah. So that made sense for us about the concept of God in Islam. And God as well sent prophets and messengers of God. All of them, they came to convey the message of God. Yeah. Like Noah, Abraham, Moses, Jesus, Muhammad, peace be upon all of them. We believe they are prophets and messengers of God. They were sent by God, sent to convey the message of God to the people. Does it make sense to you? Yeah. Now as well, the last and the final messenger is the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. Now Muhammad was sent 1400 years ago. A man, an illiterate man, who was unable to read and write, but he was known with certain characteristics. Part of that, he was trustworthy, and this testified by his own enemies talking about him. He was trustworthy, and as well he was a truthful person. He never lied. And to show you that he was trustworthy, in the time where people, they wanted to kick him out from the town, they said they decided to kill him because they don't want to change their forefathers' faith, which is paganism. So they plot against him to kill him in the night. So they came with the spears and swords to kill him and then he planned to migrate from Mecca to Medina. When he was migrating, he brought his cousin, yeah, and he said to him, stay in my home. In the morning, you take all the belongings of the people, those people, the same people who trusted me with their belongings. In the morning, you go back and give them back their trust. So the same people who came to kill him, he was protecting their trust. He was protecting their belongings and wanted to give it back to them, even in the time where they came to kill him. That tells you about the characteristics of this man, peace be upon him. Now, as well, that you'll find in the Quran a lot, that as well the miracle of Muhammad, peace be upon him, is the Quran. And you'll find in the Quran so amazing information. And this information, it cannot be said by a human being. This information, that for example, the Quran is not a book of history, but it has historical facts, proven facts. The Quran is not a science book, but it has scientific facts, proven facts, beyond any doubt. Yeah? All of this tells you that this religion or this faith was revealed by God. Yes?
In the Quran, when you read, I have an English translated one, but there's some things, like we've read it together, but there's some things that linguistically, maybe when you translate it, it doesn't sort of make sense.
Like
the deep understanding.
By the way, the Quran, generally the one which you see it there, is mostly translated, the translation of the Quran. So the original text of the Quran is Arabic. And itself, the language of it, the structure of it is so miraculous that made the Arabs at that time to believe that it came from God. There is no doubt that this speech was said by someone other than God as a text, yeah. And as well, it has melody. It's beautiful. That people they think they sing it, but actually they recite it in a melody way, in a beautiful way. And this, not just that, and it has information, deep meanings in the Quran, deep meanings, made many people to accept Islam. Yeah. Now we said to you, if Islam makes sense to you, you'll accept to be Muslim. Yeah. Correct? Does it make sense to you? So far. It made sense to you? Okay. Now, and that's all. And then, by the way, and the journey of Islam is a journey of learning and education, and will be there for you to teach you, to help you, to educate you about your faith, no problem. But the main concept, sister, is to accept Islam and not to delay. That's the agreement in the beginning. We agreed, if it made sense to you, then you will accept, correct? You agreed? Yeah? So now, the step to become a Muslim is to say one single statement. To testify there is none worthy of worship except Allah, and to testify that Muhammad is the messenger of Allah. And you will be welcome to 1.8 billion brothers and sisters in Islam. And we are all there for you, to help you, to teach you, to educate you about Islam. And that's it. So sister, don't delay. Just take that.
I appreciate all the knowledge and openness
I will tell you something. Yeah. Since the agreement was in the beginning, we said to you, if there is one true faith, we have to follow it. Now, I will tell you something. Many of the brothers in the beginning, they feel reluctant to take the shahada, to take the step of Islam. They say, oh, maybe I will be not committed to it. They will say all of these, all maybes. Yeah. And the feeling that you have, I will give you some idea about this feeling, being reluctant to take that step. That is influenced by the devil. And to prove from the devil is just true. You know, when you were young, when you were a child, when you did something wrong, and your mother told you, say sorry because you've done something wrong. Do you remember that? Yeah? Brother, one second, brother. Brother, 1 second.
Okay.
1 second, brother. Just sorry. So when you were young, when you did some mistakes or something, and your mother told you, say sorry because you did wrong. You know, when you were reluctant, you don't want to say it. You know that? Stubborn, you know, when you were that. At that point, it's exactly the same feeling that you're feeling now. Exactly the same one. Because it's influenced by the devil. The devil wanted you not to follow the truth. The devil wanted you to live your life away from the guidance of God. So, and we are inviting you to what? To the things that made sense to you. And you said originally, brother, akhi, can you just be quiet because you are interrupting us? Yeah. So the delay doesn't make sense. If the delay will make sense, that's fine. And you said you're a logical person, correct? You said earlier. You said you are a logical person. So if I told you that's the truth, then you say, okay, hold on a second. I will follow the truth maybe tomorrow. You see, it doesn't make sense. So the truth is to be followed. This is the logical, step to do, correct?
I understand what you're saying, but for me, it's the confidence of stepping into it with my personal conviction. It's not just a 2-minute conversation.
No, it's not about 2 minutes conversation. I believe you have read, you studied things about Islam, and then that was what we have agreed in the beginning. And as well, not enough. All of us, there is not enough, because Islam is a journey of education, journey of learning. We're still learning. We learn until we die. That's normal. Because every day we learn something new. And the Quran is a big book. Every day we learn something, we try to implement. That's how it is. But there is one fundamental concept in Islam. If you know something, you just do it, implement it. Simple as that. Like, do you do any job? Do you work anything? Yeah. In your job, they not expect from you to know everything in one day, but they expect for you what you know to implement. So the first day, to turn on the computer, to know the password, that's the first step. So they expect from you to do that. So the same thing in Islam. If you know this, if you know something, if it makes sense, you just do that. And then later on, you add to your information slowly, gradually, and you will have the knowledge, and you have the firm knowledge. It is so simple and straightforward system. So, and the Quran is full of this. And that's why we are inviting you to Islam. We are inviting you to Islam. And we are calling you to Islam. So don't delay this. And it doesn't make sense delaying. So just only the things that you know, just implement. And then next day or next time that you implement what you know, and so on and so forth. That's how it is. Now, I will ask the question again. Do you believe in one God? Do you believe that Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, to be a prophet and messenger of God? Do you believe?
I'm not at that point where I know.
You don't believe? Okay.
I don't know.
You don't know? Okay. Now, that every prophet will receive from God evidence to prove that he is a prophet and messenger of God. Yes? Every prophet has that. Yeah? Now, what is the evidence that Muhammad, peace be upon him, that he was a prophet and messenger of God? His proof is the Quran. This Quran, which was revealed 1400 years ago, I said to you earlier, Quran is not a book of history, but has historical facts. Like, for example, 1400 years ago, what was the source of information about the ancient Egypt history? What's the source of history? What's the source? Is there any source to study about the history of Egypt? I will tell you. Huh? 1 second, sister. I will tell you. Yeah. I will tell you. the Old Testament. So the Old Testament has some information about a king who was titled as Pharaoh, and he was a ruler in Egypt, and talks about his position towards the prophets and messengers of God. Talks about Pharaoh, maybe other Pharaoh, and Joseph. Talks about Pharaoh and Moses, and this is around. All of it is mentioned. These are things that are mentioned in the Old Testament. Now, 1400 years ago, Quran was revealed upon Muhammad, peace be upon him. You will find the story of Moses scattered around the Quran, and talks about Moses and Pharaoh, Pharaoh and Moses, Moses and Aaron and Pharaoh. Was their struggle against them? So these things are mentioned in the Quran. But there is one single chapter in the Quran talks about Joseph, peace be upon him. And Joseph was way before Moses, nearly 1,000 years or more, before Moses. Now Joseph, like suddenly the tone of the Quran changed. Now, instead of talking about Joseph and Pharaoh, talks about suddenly talking about Joseph, King and Joseph. In the old times, Christians used to say to us, to Muslims, by the way, your book got it wrong, should be Pharaoh. He is not king, he's just Pharaoh, and the kings of Egypt, they are pharaohs, so why the Quran? We said, if God has revealed this in the Quran, we believe the words of God. Until nearly 100 or 120 years ago, when they discovered Rosetta Stone. Yeah? When they found the Rosetta Stone. Have you heard about Rosetta Stone? Basically, Rosetta Stone is a stone they found it in Egypt, and they moved it to Germany. Maybe it's here in this country. But the point is, the Rosetta Stone, basically they discovered this stone, which literally that it translates the hieroglyphic language, the ancient Egyptian language, into Greek language and into Latin language. That's the stone. Yeah? Now, and then they start dismantling what is written on all of these, pyramids, the scrolls, whatever they found. They start discovering they don't want to be filmed. By the way, they don't want to be filmed. Yeah. Be careful. Yeah. Yeah? And then, amazingly, they said, this is the historian, they said it is during the period where Joseph lived, it is impossible for the king at the time of Joseph to be titled as Pharaoh. Why? Because Hyksos, and the Hyksos are Mediterranean rain that took over Egypt, and they ruled there for centuries. And they never used that title at all. Just like you don't expect for example, the title of the king, for example, in ancient Egypt to be called Caesar. Yeah, it's impossible because that's a special title for the Roman kings. Yeah. Now, so the title of the Hyksos, they used to use the title kings. That's all. Yeah. Until later on, hundreds of years later, when the ancient Egyptians took over their country back, and then they ruled their country, and then they introduced the title Pharaoh. So the question is, who taught Muhammad about this historical fact? Tell me, sister, how this fact came. You see here, and as well the Quran, not just that, and there is full of this information, which they say, some people that claim that the Quran is a copy of the Bible. That's not true. If it's copied, it will take the same. But actually, no. Yeah? Yeah? So that's why you will find it in the Old Testament, which is done, again, read by the Christian and Jews. They use the same title Pharaoh. Now, another things mentioned in the Bible, mentioned in the Quran, for example, Quran, we said to you earlier, is not a science book, but has scientific facts. Facts, beyond any doubt. Meaning these facts are things that's impossible for Muhammad, peace be upon him, to say such statement during that time. It's impossible. Yeah? We said to you earlier, Muhammad, peace be upon him, was illiterate man, was unable to read and write. and he was able to say certain things which God has. Part of it, for example, you studied something about cosmology. Have you done anything? Do you know anything about it? Do you know some basics? Let's say, for example, do you know that, for example, when you look into the sky in the night and you see the stars, do you see the stars currently? Or you see the stars millions of years ago? I will tell you. So you see these stars, they are millions of light years away from us, yes? Do you know what means light years? Meaning that the light has to travel for millions of years in the space, yeah? In the space until it reaches your eyes, yeah? So basically, that star, when you are looking into the star in the night, you're seeing these stars millions of years ago. And at the current moment, that star is not there because the universe is expanding and the star's positions changed. It's not the same. Or to change into black hole, yeah? These are, I'm talking about scientific facts. I'm talking about scientific facts, yeah? By the way, I will discuss with you after, but can you just not to interrupt, please? If you don't mind, don't interrupt, please. I would appreciate, if you don't interrupt our discussion. Thank you. Thank you. So, yeah. Anyway, so here what they said, when the light departs from these stars until it reaches your eye, it takes millions of years. Now, at this moment, when you're looking to the star, that star already changed the position. It's not there. Now, in the Quran, talks about this fact. When any place in the Quran, Allah is making an oath by something to tell you that something is something significant, something to think, something to ponder upon. So God said to us in the Quran, stated in the Quran, I will not make an oath by the positions of the stars. And it's a great oath, but you are not yet aware of it. So God is addressing the Arabs at that time, and the Prophet, peace be upon him, and his companions, that the position of the stars is something worthy to ponder, to think about, but you are not at that time, you are not yet aware of it. Until recently we discovered that basically when you look into the sky in the night, you are just only seeing the positions of the stars millions of years ago. Who taught Muhammad about this fact? Tell me, sister. Tell me.
Explain about yourself.
One second. I will do that, inshallah. Yes, inshallah. Who taught Muhammad about this fact, sister? Huh? We know it? God. Okay. Now, and as well, about the expansion of the universe, Allah as well mentioned in the Quran, we have created the heavens and we are expanding it. The heavens is expanding. And that's another fact in the Quran. And there are as well embryology, the development of the fetus in the womb of the mother, how it is developed, and how all of these things, this before they discovered even the microscope to see what's happening there. Who taught Muhammad about all these facts? Yes, sister, tell me. Okay, so if it's God that tells you, now I will repeat the question to you again. Was Muhammad the prophet of God? Yes? Based on the knowledge that we learn now, so far. Inside you, what do you think? Tell me, what do you think?
That everything you say makes sense, yes.
So that is what we are inviting you for. We are inviting you to submit to that God and to follow the guidance of this prophet and messenger of God. That's all. That's what we are inviting you. We are not inviting you for things, you're at the end of the day, you're saving yourself in the hereafter. We're all gonna die eventually. We're all gonna face the consequence of our choices. And there is paradise and there is hellfire. The one who submit their will to the will of God, they're gonna go to paradise. And the one who refuse, they deserve the punishment of God to the hellfire. You see here, that's what we are saying to you, sister. We are inviting you to the salvation, which is to believe in this God, which made sense to you, yeah, which He makes sense to you, and as well to this prophet, which is already you have agreed that he's a prophet of God. That's all. And there is nothing, there is no magic. It's a single statement that identify you where you stand. That's all. So to identify that you, yes, you stand, believe in one God. And we say Allah means the one God, by the way, in Arabic. And to testify that Muhammad is a messenger of Allah. As simple as that, nothing else. That's all. That's what we are inviting you for. So that, and if information that you got is sufficient for you, is sufficient for you to know about God. That's all. And it's sufficient for you to submit your will to the will of God. And then to know the purpose of your life is to follow the guidance of God. That's all. Yeah? So, the question is, to you, sister, see the hecklers. Okay. All right. All right. We have hecklers. So, what's your name, sister? Huh? Alana. So, Alana. Now, going back to the agreement that we said, Islam made sense to you. Prophet say that statement. You will go with a different feeling that you know where you belong. That's all. At least at this moment, that you know where you belong.
I appreciate the conversation, but me choosing to not repeat the statement now is not me saying that I will not eventually say it. It's just that I do not feel comfortable doing it this way.
How do you want to do it?
Well, they kind of like me. Like I would
Listen, we can go on a side together. Listen, that's fine. Listen, we can go together now. Me and you and the brother can go there and just say it. At the end of the day, you know what will make everyone happy here. And as well, you don't need to do that. At the end of the day, it's something for you, sister.
Please understand that it's not me choosing against. I agree with you.
That's good, sister. Yeah, not the way that she wants.
What's really decent is that you clearly said at the start that based upon evidence, proof, and common sense.
like when I did that, I went through.
And I believe you are a strong character, sister. That's something. By the way, I respect this. You have a strong character, which is good. It's not bad. Something good. You have a strong character. That's one thing. The other thing, as well, when you said in the beginning, if things make sense to me, I will do. I respect this. But
So trust in me.
hold to this.
But trust in me that it's not a delay. It's just my personal choice to do it in my own.
Yeah, that's what we are asking. No problem. We can.
Because everything you said makes sense to me.
Good.
And I align with it.
That's
I
good.
believe it, so
We can go now to the side, and then we spend at least more private time. More private time. Listen, do you know why? Sister, we love the best for you. Son, no problem. I understand. By the way, some people, they don't want to do it in public and in front of an audience. They prefer to do it. Yeah, they prefer. Yeah, they prefer to do it like in front. So anyway, we'll be concluding here, inshallah, today. I will go with the brother just for a minute with them before they go, and then after that we'll come back, inshallah. Okay. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Oh, brother. I don't know which is which and who's who. Brother, Ufika barakallah. Let's go.
Actually,
What? Yeah.
we came from Indonesia.
Mashallah, brother. How are you, right?
Alhamdulillah.
Are you okay?
Can I have one question after you finish?
Come with me. Testify to sense.
Come with me, man.
Kita mau private dulu. Mau private? Mau private?
Kok nggak boleh dilihat? Tadi kamu udah izin?
Apa?
Udah izin?
Enggak, maksudnya tadi bilang di discussion private.
Oh iya, makanya.
Private gimana? Nggak bisa di... Dia juga dikasihin udah cukup kok. The mic, careful. Shaykh want to discuss private or anything? Private. Not private. Just he will come back, yeah?
Private.